Welcome back. AgriSA and police are joining forces in the fight against farm attacks. During a recent meeting, farm attacks were high on the agenda. The latest crime stats show that 49 farm murders occurred during the 2019 to 2020 financial year. Let's unpack this then. I'm joined by AgriSA's Kobus Visser. Kobus, good afternoon. Thank you for talking to us. So there was this recent incident in the Northern Cape that really shocked and jolted everyone, the killings there in Harts, Water, and it sort of served to push the issues around safety in farming communities as well as rural communities to the fore. What is this initiative between AgriSA and the South African Police Services aimed at achieving?
Well, I think from the beginning is that AgriSA has a very good working relationship with the South African Police Service at the national level. And firstly, this meeting was also to strengthen that working relationship between the two organizations, but also to address the challenges facing us as a farming community as well as the police in implementing the revised rural safety strategy. So if you look at the strategy, that's probably one of the best strategies ever developed to curb farm crime and farm murders. But we need to implement it, and there are some challenges that we have to address. And that's the main content of the meeting that we held with the police.
And I see that you agreed on a task team and are talking about issues to do with increased patrols as well as recruitment of reservists. What are the timelines and what are the other measures that you have agreed to?
Well, if you look at the strategy, the backbone of the strategy is the reservist system, which provides the support to the police and to the farming community. So the problem with this with the system is that it takes too long after a person has been appointed or to be appointed as a reservist. There's a long period in terms of learning, and we are looking to reduce the curriculum in terms of the learning, to shorten it and to make it more easier for farmers and farm workers to attend these courses and to enable them to join as reservists. Visibility in rural areas is of paramount importance, because by visibility, you can scare off criminals entering a environment or a farmers association region, and it also helps to have a standard of operating in that environment to the effect that you can curb farm attacks and farm crime.
And in terms of this national rural safety strategy and the measures that you are mentioning, what are the difficulties there, Kobus, of rolling it out, given the fact that, I mean, you know, it's not like you can identify a specific location in the country and say, let's focus on this location with farming communities and farms being spread out as they are across the country, and the resources then needed to sort of effectively patrol and be visible over such large-scale land, and not really that practical.
Yeah, I think the challenge is to cover the rural areas. As you just said, it's vast areas. Farmers are living very far or sometimes very far from their service centres in town, such as the police. So in most cases, they rely on themselves and their neighbours for close protection. And the system or the strategy, one of the shortcomings of the strategy is enough resources to the police in terms of vehicles for rural safety, where they can do patrols, farm visit, and so forth. Night vision, for example, to do observation in the evening, especially where you have high incidences of stock theft, which has a big bearing on stock farmers, which causes a lot of financial losses for farmers.
And Kobus, talk to me about the political dynamic of it all. As you know, as you and I know, it generates a lot of heat, this issue of crime that occurs on farms, as well as murders on farms. How do you address both the real safety issues in farming communities, while at the same time being real about confronting some of the socio-economic justice issues that do come up, and at the same time addressing the issues that we are talking about here? So is it possible to deal with all of these issues without raising this heat and political heat to the detriment of the real debates here?
I think the problem is that it's a much bigger problem, as you just stated, farm attacks and the rural crime issue. Firstly, how we deal with it is firstly on a policy level. We as we've just been discussing, have an interaction with the police and to help and to see where we can put measures in place to curb these attacks. Secondly, also we have established a trust fund quite a few years ago where we provide financial resources to the farming community, which includes the farm workers and people living in that farmers association area. And we recently approved 15 rural safety projects where about 900 farmers and over 7,000 farm workers have benefited, where their own security have been beefed up in terms of camera systems to have a observation facility in that region and to try and curb the incoming people into an environment. And I must say that also that your farm workers are also vulnerable in terms of farm attacks, and that's why it's important for us to deal with rural safety in an issue which involves the whole community.
All right, thank you for your time there. That's Kobus Visser from AgriSA talking to us there about a collaboration between that organization and the South African Police Services to deal with issues of safety and crime on farms.